self-portraits with this. Hey, I'm Vanessa. Welcome to my channel. I like to talk about all things creative photography related, and today I'm just chilling at home about to do some creative self-portraits. The other day I tried to go outside and take some self-portraits, but it's still winter and it was so cold and it lasted all of 10 minutes before I just had to give up. So today I decided to do my creative self-portraits at home, which is fine. It's just sometimes the background is a little bit not as inspiring. For example, today I'm either going to be shooting with this white wall here or this dark backdrop that I have set up. And to bring a little bit more interest to the self-portraits, I'm going to be using this to get a variety of different effects. Often I use Photoshop and a lot of my self-portraits to get different effects, but I really just wanted to do something that was a little bit more practical and other people would be able to do even if they don't have a lot of Photoshop experience. So you might be asking yourself, what exactly is that thing? Well, honestly, it is a piece of plastic. It came off of my mom's, I think it was a coffee table. It was just this like random piece of junk they had lying around. So if you're looking for something like this, you can check out thrift stores, you can check out like used building supply stores, you can even go poke around at the dump if you have a dump that they let you do that. Anywhere that you can find old discarded like building or household materials might have something like this. If you can't find something this big, you can always use the glass from a picture frame. I would recommend trying to find one that is plastic so that you're not handling glass too much yourself, because you never know, it might break and I don't want anybody to get hurt. So try to stick with plastic. You could probably buy a brand new piece of like plexiglass or something, but I will say that's probably quite a bit more expensive than just trying to find a used hunk of something kicking around. So there are a couple different things that you can use on the plexiglass or glass thing that you have found. And first of all, I just want to note right now, it's kind of dirty and dingy, which is kind of a neat effect. So maybe I might want to do some photos with that happening, or I could clean it off and just use a little bit of Windex to get that nice and crystal clear. Other things that I have here are a spray bottle in case I want to spritz that onto my plexiglass and have a little bit of like a looking like it's raining outside on a window type look. I can also stick stickers and little gemstones and things on it, and those will look like they're just kind of floating around or falling. It's kind of like a real life filter, Instagram filter or something. I've considered using maybe something a little bit sticky and sprinkling sparkles or glitter or something all over it. I have used the Vaseline trick before and smeared Vaseline all over it. I could not find my Vaseline today, but I do have an example of when I have done that before, so I'll show you that image and you can get an idea of what that would look like. And the other thing that I have here, and I like to shoot with this, is like this iridescent kind of like cellophane. So if I'm shooting with this like as is, it is floppy. Sometimes I have put it on just a frame, but it tends to rip. So my idea for this is to actually just like tape this onto here, and it will get a bit more of a solid, sturdy surface to hold on to. And then I'll be able to handle it a little bit more if I want to use this in my photos and get some kind of more whimsical, dreamy type look. So those are the things that I have with me, but you're not limited to that kind of stuff. I would just say poke around in your craft cupboards or bathroom or wherever you might have something that you could smear, stick, smudge, tape onto this. I mean, you could use paint, mud, makeup. It's limitless. Go ahead, let your imagination run wild, and see what you can stick on there. So right now I am just going to take a couple test shots to make sure I got kind of like the placement right and all of the exposure and settings before I really start fiddling with that. And then I am going to probably go with the water first. Another thing that's gonna make this a little bit easier for you is if you do have a camera that's got like a flip screen or some sort of way that you can see what's happening, because you want to make sure that you're lining it up and you're not getting the edges. It is not the end of the world if you have the edges in it, because you can always crop it if you want to, but it's always nice to get it as close to what you're looking for as possible in camera to save yourself that extra work. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I've got all of the dark stuff in the background. None of the edges of my backdrop are sticking in the photo, and I like the angle and all of that stuff. So now I'm ready to spritz some water on my plexiglass and take a few photos. Also, I find like right now it's very covered in droplets, and there's two ways that I can go about this, and that is to put it in front of me and then focus, which means it's probably gonna focus on the drops and not so much on my face, which is totally fine and a cool effect if that's what you want. Or I can have it focus on my face first and then move this just before it takes the shot. So I'll probably do a little bit of both of those techniques to get both style of images. Now, I don't usually shoot with live view. I find it a little bit more finicky with focusing, but in this situation, because I have two umbrella lights here and they are reflecting in the plexiglass and the rain, I want to minimize that as much as possible and to be able to tell exactly which angle I need to have it kind of tweaked at. Live view will really help me with that. Once I kind of get a sense of where it is, I can turn off live view.
Good days and bad days, I know I can call you, 'cause you always have answers to problems that I could never solve. Never met green eyes, I love to get lost in this much. Not all the time that we
I'm sad behind my rainy window look. Yes, I'm pretty happy with those rainy window looking ones. So I think I'm gonna wipe off the water and try another one of my ideas. The way that I'm really able to do this without having too much glare on the plexiglass thing is that I have the lights kind of off to the side. So if I'm holding it in the center, it's really facing that way, like in between the lights, and it's hitting it from the side and not directly straight on, so it's not reflecting. So if you're going to be shooting with indoor lights and you have control over that rather than maybe you want to do this outside, definitely have kind of like an indirect light, because anything pointed directly at you will just hit it and then shine and reflect right back towards the photo. So as usual, take a lot of photos. Just take a whole bunch, take hundreds if you have to until you get the one that you like, especially if you're having to tweak the position ever so slightly to avoid the reflections, just to get that just right shot. And don't beat yourself up over like the 100 crap photos that you take, because it's not about the ones that don't work out, it's about the ones that do. So this one is actually all about the reflections and the light bouncing and the looks that I can get with that. Okay, so I pulled out the Christmas lights. They're just those like round ones that you can like stick in your yard and they shoot lights everywhere. And I used 2 clamps to stick them to the sides of my backdrop. And I've never done this before. This was totally just like I'm just playing around.
wish I met you at 16, wish I could have taken you to prom. Better late than never, I see us spending days together.
Those ones are so fun. They've got this complete hazy disco party look going to them, and I really love how they were turning out. Thanks for checking out my creative self-portraits today. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to get notified next time I upload a video. And if you're interested in checking out some more of my self-portrait videos, I'll have them on the end screen for you right now.
Better late late than never.